With YouTube demonetizing independent media, please consider becoming a patron today for just $1 per month. Link below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Russell for the 3rd of May, 2018. So tonight we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Tonight I thought it'd be fun to go through and look at a bunch of crazy news stories you probably missed this week, and stories that I do feel are probably a little bit too short in order to turn into a full-fledged video. So I've got a good selection of about 6 or 7 stories lined up, and if there's anything you want to see yourself, anything you want to see brought up, be sure to send it over to mundanemat.com/submit. The crazier, the better. Be sure to keep length in mind, just because we're going to be reading the articles and we want to get through them as fast as possible. So anything you got that's weird that I may not have seen, mundanemat.com/submit. And I do want to make this a weekly thing again. I've talked about it before, but I really want to start structuring streams to have them be very much, brought in, like, certain days do certain things. That way it's more structured, it's more organized, and you guys know exactly what you're getting. So without further fucking ado, let's let's jump into the first one here, because I swear this shit this shit be crazy. So it says here that a Michigan man will spend the next 7 years and 3 months behind bars as punishment for attempting to hack a county jail's computer system and altering prison records in order to get his friend released early. Now all of a sudden we have a better understanding of just what the hell is going on. We have a better understanding of just why this dude did what he did. In addition to the 87 months, Conrad Voits, a 27-year-old from Ypsilanti, Michigan, will also be hit with a $230,000 fine that he's ordered to pay for the cost accrued in investigating the intrusion. You have to love that. It's all like the cost. I mean, he said pay back the cost of the investigation, $230,000 to bring this guy down. Voits, who pled guilty to 1 count of damaging protected computer last December, spent the better part of the spring of 2017 crafting and executing a social engineering scheme that allowed him to gain access to the county jail computer system. The Michigan resident began his campaign by crafting a website that looked identical to the county's actual site. When the county's real website had the domain name ewashtenah.org, Voigt's mockup had the domain ewashtenave.org, which looks indistinguishable at a glance. With the fake county website up and running, Voits began sending out emails to employees of the county jail in an attempt to lure them to the site and surrender their login credentials so he could hijack their account and access the jail's computer system. Now, we've heard of this before, right? This is what effectively brought down the DNC. It was a phishing scam. I mean, I don't know if I call this like really a hacker. I mean, he ultimately did some stuff here, but this is his first attempt was phishing. That's why I always say, like, always be wary of what you see out there. Always be wary of this stuff. Now, unfortunately for the hacker, the plan failed when no one from the jail took the bait. After abandoning the phishing attack, Voits then began calling the jail to talk to employees. He posed as a member of the county's IT staff over the phone and would pretend that he was trying to help install an update for the jail, or the ex-jail program used to manage jail records. Voits would direct the unwitting employee to type in a URL, which directed to a site that was hosted malware. After a couple attempts, he was successful in tricking an employee into installing the malicious software, which he then used to gain access to just about everything stored on the county's computers. He had the ability to view and search warrant affidavits, internal discipline records from the jail, and personal information of county employees. He stole the usernames, passwords, email addresses, and other information for more than 1,600 government workers. This dude's got some talent, that if he's been able to work it in there. I have a feeling he will be hired by some companies when he gets out, at least to test security. Because that's oftentimes what happens here. These hackers, they get busted and then they get out, and then they get really lucrative jobs testing security of these companies. I mean, it's almost like do the time up front, but then later on you might find yourself with a nice 6-figure salary somewhere. Now, a victim statement from the county employee said that the hack caused a great deal of fear and consternation. According to MLive, the employee said she and others felt personally violated by Voigt's hack and had to suffer the uncertainty of not knowing whether their identity had been stolen or their credit had been ruined, which is a valid fear. It is. It's an absolutely valid fear. Voits also completed the task he initially intended to do, modify the prison record of a friend in an attempt to get him released early. While he did manage to make the change, the jailbreak plot never panned out. The reason why is an employee cross-checked the release date with the hand-kept records and determined something was wrong. A short FBI investigation later, Voights was arrested. And that's always how it is. That is always how it is. It's always like the one little detail you can't account for, right? One pencil pusher, and I give the guy credit here because he stopped the scheme from going through. But one guy was like, I'm gonna sit there, I'm gonna double check this up against an actual handwritten document that cannot be hacked, right? I feel like in the age of technology, the further we go out, the more people are getting fearful and like everything's just going to be done on fucking Post-it notes. That's where I feel we are right now. Now, the AP reports prosecutors in the case acknowledged he had talents, but said he used them for nefarious purposes. They also encouraged the court in a sentencing memorandum to allow Voights to spend part of his jail time in a federal medical center. Voight's defense attorney says he suffers from severe mental illness. Yeah, but I mean, apparently it's not that severe if he was able to finally get in to help his friend out. Hopefully, upon release, Voights will be in a position where he can use his immense skills to make society a better place. And you have to give the guy credit. You do. You have to give this guy credit because this guy sat there and he went out and had the determination in order to get his friend released from jail. He was like, I need to get this guy out. I need to get this guy free. And I'm going to go through and spend the better part of the spring to do it. And then he got busted because someone, it's basically a Scooby-Doo ending at that point, right? I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for them pesky kids. I seriously, I mean, like, as far as bros go, like, that dude's a bro. That dude is a bro. That's a bro who's got your back, right? If he's going to spend all that time trying to find a way to change his friend's jail records for an earlier release date, that is a serious dedication. That is a serious bro right there. And I have to just give this guy a lot of credit here. But before, that guy got credit. This other dude right here, this guy. This story. Oregon man pleads not guilty to killing friend while live streaming. Now, I'm live streaming right now. Ain't no one here but me, so I think I'm good. No one's going to kill me. I ain't going to kill nobody else, provided none of you out there are calling the SWAT team. I hope not, at least. Anyway, this guy right here, he kind of looks like a killer. All right, so this happened in Roseburg, Oregon, not too far away, a couple hundred miles away from where I'm at right now, but I've been to Roseburg many times. An Oregon man has been accused of shooting his friend while live streaming, has pleaded not guilty to manslaughter. Okay, let's find out more. The News Tribune reports 23-year-old John Walker Adams also pleaded not guilty to tampering with physical evidence in Douglas County Circuit Court Tuesday. A medical examiner ruled that in November, the 23-year-old Jocelyn Cerceres, whatever. I'm bad at the last names. Died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound while visiting Adams in Roseburg. So that's tragic any way you want to look at it. An attorney for Adams came forward in December to say his client accidentally shot Jocelyn. Detective Nate Goodman wrote in court documents that he interviewed Adams a few days later, and Adams demonstrated how the incident happened during a night of drinking and live streaming. And as we know where things are now with YouTube and live streaming, this almost feels like it was going to be an inevitability. However, Goodman wrote that he obtained a copy of the video, and it shows Adams putting a gun to the side of Jocelyn's head and then pulling the trigger. Now, just recently, we had this happen in, I forget where, but it was a woman was live streaming, or it was a woman and two guys live streaming in a car. One of them had a gun. They were playing with the gun. They thought it wasn't loaded. One dude cocked it. She took it, put it to his head and pulled the trigger and took half his head off. I don't know how much of this is a situation similar to that, but obviously they freaked out and they tried to claim that this guy killed himself. That this guy, he did it. It was totally an accident. I mean, in the situation like this, it's very much probably an accident. They were just messing around while live streaming and didn't think anything about it and ended up killing this guy. Yeah, Aaron, I agree. Pleaded always sounds wrong. I just like to say pled. I feels more grammatically accurate, but then again, that is what it is. But yeah, that's unfortunate in this particular case that this happened. I was once doing a short film with a guy I know, and he was wielding an axe, and he fell out of my camper that was on the back of a truck, and he hit the ground, and the axe landed blade up with his head landing right next to it. So he almost fell face first on an axe. You know, like, so I've you know, the stuff you do when you're trying to entertain people and you're not thinking about safety because you don't really give much thought to it, ultimately can really screw you up. So I understand entirely probably where the situation started and sadly where it ended up. And the guy pleading not guilty, I don't think is really going to work in the long run, but we'll have to wait and see. But this next one's really funny to me because, yeah, mystery pooper at the New Jersey high school track turned out to be the superintendent. That's right, Super Nintendo Chalmers decided he wanted to get back at the school, so he dropped trow and took a huge-ass chode right there on the track. I don't know why. Let's find out why he did it if there's an answer. I figure at this point there should be an answer. Now, the Kenilworth School Superintendent, charged Monday with defecating in public, was caught in the act at the Holmdel High School football field and track after surveillance was set up due to human feces being found on a daily basis. On a daily basis. This dude hated the school so much that he just started shitting on the track daily. I mean, he's the superintendent. This fucking guy, he should be fucking... If you hate the school, dude, you're the one that can fucking fix it. Oh, Thomas Tramagalini, 42, lives about 3 miles from Holmdel High School in neighboring Aberdeen. He was running the track on the athletic fields at 5:50 a.m. before he was arrested. Track coaches and staff at Holmdel High School told the district resource officer that they found human feces on or near the football field and track daily, Holmdel police said in a statement. School employees began monitoring the area, and on Monday, police arrested Tramagalini at 5:50 a.m., according to Sergeant Theodore Sigismondi. So it became such a nuisance, such a problem, that they set up surveillance and they nabbed him. They caught the pooper. All right, they scooped the poop essentially. But here's the thing: so this guy's running around at 5:50 in the morning. In the morning, he goes for a run on the track. Now, if you remember, there was the mystery pooper or the phantom pooper in Colorado Springs last year. It was a woman. We know that much. She was basically caught on camera, like defecating in someone's side yard, and she was doing this multiple times, but she was also dressed in jogging gear. I'm not a runner because I'm fat, but I could only wonder if this is just like a really healthy way to take a shit. You know, like you're out there and you're like, oh man, I'm getting up a good sweat. And then all of a sudden it's like Chodeville. You know, your body's like, just gotta go and clear everything out. And so you just find the nearest place you can, you drop trowel, pop a squat, and there you go. But this is a school superintendent. You know what I mean? Like, dude ought to know better. That's all I'm saying. Guy ought to fucking know better. He's also charged with lewdness and littering. He's due in municipal court on Monday to answer the charges. Now, lewdness and littering. Jesus Christ. Tramagalini has taken paid leave of absence from his $147,000 a year job in Kenilworth. Leave can only be unpaid if a person is indicted or faces tenure charged, the district said, citing state law. So if he's got tenure, he's fine. If he's not indicted, then he's fine. He's just getting a paid leave of absence because he was like, hey man, I took a shit a couple times. But I mean, apparently it was much of a nuisance to where like they formed a neighborhood watch association to catch the mystery pooper. When I worked at a movie theater in Pasadena, we had a phantom masturbator. We could never catch the guy. I have to give credit to these people. They have done well. They brought him down. They toppled the local school government, the corrupt government, the government that's full of shit. Literally, they stopped it from happening. Now, Tramlagini was replaced Superintendent Scott Taylor, who resigned in August 2015. He previously served as Chief Academic Officer in Keensburg and also held position in Plumstead and Freehold Borough. None of that matters. However, if I was a detective working this case and I wanted to get to the bottom of maybe the motivations behind why the Phantom Pooper was dropping dookie on a track and field of a high school of which he's a superintendent of, I would definitely go and check out Keensburg and Plumstead and Freehold Borough, and I'd ask around. And if you guys here, have you ever encountered a phantom shitter? Has there been people running around and just leaving dookie? And when did that stop, by the way? And have like a notepad. I could imagine a detective going out there and just going like, no, you know, and lining up the dates and then going home and having this wall with like red yarn everywhere, like phantom poop here and here and here. It's all creating a pattern leading. It's a swirl back to home base. I don't know. To me, that's just crazy. Now, he was a part-time lecturer at Rutgers, but does not work at the university. And, of course, no one answered the door. I have to simply just ask the question there to the reporter working on the story. Did anyone there actually bother to go and check the local track and field, or possibly just the bathroom? Because apparently this guy has got himself a situation where he just likes to take a shit. And he likes to do it at a track and field. Okay, like I said before, I have a feeling a lot of it boils down to like, he's running, probably has a bran muffin or something. You know, he's got a good healthy flow, a good healthy BM. Because you know what it is? It feels like he's been doing this enough to where there's like, you know, he's on a schedule, right? Like a child. You want to get a child on a schedule. If you get your BM on a schedule and it's good and it's healthy, it's robust, it has a nice centeroma, then you're good. But still, this is a superintendent of a school that is going around and popping Duke on a track and field. Quite frankly, I'm glad he's busted, but I just want to know the motivation. I could speculate till the end of fucking time about the motivation, but I want to know why he did it. Anyway, let's take a look at this next one, because this next one is China in a nutshell. So China has banned Peppa Pig after character becomes cultural icon for poorly educated slackers. And even the hashtag is outlawed. Good old China, always finding a way to keep the man down, right? I almost feel like we should just we as Americans should just gradually introduce Cletus the slack-jawed yokel to see if it would have the same impact. But let's find out exactly why. Peppa the Pig has become a cultural icon for poorly educated slackers in China. It says here that children's favorite Peppa Pig has been banned in China for a very unusual reason. According to reports, more than 30,000 clips of the sweet cartoon, which followed the lives of Piglet Peppa and her family, have been removed from the country's equivalent of YouTube. Douyin. It's all because the animated pig's affiliation with poorly educated slackers. You know, if this was true in America, what would be like Rick and Morty? I'm going to argue Rick and Morty would be gone. It would be banned. If we were going to do the same thing here, Rick and Morty would be banned. That's Reddit tier intellectualism. So, yeah, unemployed internet philosophers. I love Rick and Morty, but come on, let's face it. Some of their fan base is shit. Even the hashtag Peppa Pig has been outlawed in the country. You know what this means, guys? You know what this means. You need to use a VPN. You got to head over to China. You got to get on Weibo, whatever it's called, and just start spamming Peppa Pig. We have to bring the meme warfare machine to China. We got to start fighting back against their state. You know what I mean? It's kind of like loose fit communism, right? It's a communist state with capitalistic ideology. Go in there and start taking back the power to the people. Meme warfare. We need to start. I would say we would need to pull off what Russia did to us in terms of election tampering, but they got rid of elections when it comes to their president now, and our president said nothing. But that being said, according to state-run news website Global Times, the clips were removed after Peppa became a cultural icon among the poorly educated. You've got 1 billion fucking people in China, all right, with finally an emerging middle class. There are going to be lots of poorly educated people because they couldn't get the education because they're in the factories making all the shit you buy at fucking Walmart. I believe that's pretty fair. Or really poorly made rock band accessories. Says the show was quite popular among Chinese children ever since it entered the market in 2015, but had gone viral thanks to young adults tuning in because young adults like cartoons, right? They do. I'm no longer considered a young adult. I'm a man, 36 years old. But God damn it, if I don't love me some South Park, some Simpsons, some Family Guy, some American Dad, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm really super sick, I'll even watch My Little Pony. But I have to be the right kind of sick, like 104-degree kind of sick, like so hot that my testicles unshrivel and they just bob in the toilet bowl. That's how sick I have to be to watch My Little Pony. Yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Anyway, the online fad made Peppa an unexpected icon in the Shiruyuan subculture. I mispronounced that. I don't care. Shiruyuan means society person, but in this context, it also refers to people who run counter to the mainstream value and are usually poorly educated with no stable job. So your average Redditor, or 4chaner, or person on Twitter, or Bloodsports viewer. Anyway, it adds there are unruly slackers roaming around and the antithesis of the young generation and the party tries to cultivate. I don't know if that's entirely true, but that seems, I mean, does this seem really like it's going to be pushing towards, you know, some kind of subculture of lazy, poorly educated people? I mean, they're using a gas stove to cook, you know, to cook corn on the cob. They're not even wrapped in tinfoil. I mean, okay, maybe this is poorly educated. They don't have proper grilling techniques, right? Charcoal, tinfoil, a little bit of butter, a little bit of pepper. You cook up some freaking corn on the cob. That particular pig right there is horrible. No, they have a tail like that. Was that a kangaroo? Anyway, they're horrible at what they do, and whoever animates the show should feel bad. But is it enough to ban it from the country? Poor grilling techniques, is that enough for poorly educated people? Probably. In 2017, Chinese parents complained that their children had become addicted to Peppa Pig. People were unhappy that their preschool children had started oinking and jumping in puddles to mimic the character's behavior of the cartoon. Maybe they're oinking and jumping in puddles because the air quality in China is so horrible that's the only way they can get themselves to breathe. Who knows? Who knows? We have no idea. But apparently, because some kids oinked, it's a cultural phenomenon. It's a cultural problem. It's for the poorly educated. Because they're children. It had previously been viewed as a good educational tool for children learning to speak English. Other content reportedly banned from Douyin includes nudity, men dressing as women, sure, the display of firearms, and cult preaching. So what exactly does cult preaching mean when it comes to China? Is it anything that basically says, hey, communism sucks? Probably. Also, probably Scientology. Just going to put that one out there. But seriously, Peppa Pig was originally viewed as a good educational tool to children, but now it's even worse than men dressing as women. China. Good old freaking China. China. They're always doing something crazy. They're always doing something stupid. But my friends, I'm not even lying when I say this. They're not as stupid as this. Dating sucks. I think we all can agree, right? We all want to come out there, find a partner. I have people guaranteed in the chat right now that are single, that want to find a nice woman or man to settle down with. But what they don't want is someone like this, where single moms are turning to sugar daddies to help with rising daycare costs. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a stay-at-home father. It's very nice. I get to spend time with my kid. I love my daughter. But honestly, a big portion of that has to do with the fact that childcare costs are freaking insanely high. But come on. Come on. Getting a sugar daddy to take care of someone else's kid. I'm just going to say it. We're all thinking it. We are all thinking it. But I'm going to be literally the one to say it. That's like the non-sexual definition of cucking right there. Am I right or am I right? Or am I right? Am I right? Right? You're taking care. Like, don't get me wrong. Whoever does it, probably doing it the goodness of their own heart. I'm not going to knock them for that. But at the same time, it's kind of scary. Anyway. It says here that more than 100,000 single moms are turning to sugar dating. That's sad. That's according to website seekingarrangement.com, which connects younger women with wealthy older men. Oh my God, it's essentially prostitution. Woman's like, I can't take care of my children. What am I going to do? Seekingarrangement.com, otherwise known as Indecent Proposal, the website. Kind of what it feels like, doesn't it? According to the website, the average sugar baby gets nearly $3,000 in gifts a month from their sugar daddies. God damn. Seriously, god damn, $3,000 a month? From ladies, this is what you got. This is where it's at. This is the new booming industry. In an exclusive interview, an Orange Park single mom tells Action News Jack it's helping her ease the financial burden of raising her son. After Kim's long-term relationship with her son's father ended, money became a challenge. Well, yeah, never mind the whole stable household to raise your child in, therefore leading them to be a more productive member of society. But I mean, who am I? I'm not getting judged. It got to the point where he was wanting to go do things or wanting things, and I couldn't provide, said Kim, who asked Action News Jax not to use her last name and to protect her 8-year-old's privacy. And it made me feel kind of really low. Yeah, one of the hardest things you could do as a parent is to tell your child no. It is. It really is. Especially when it comes to financial issues. But that doesn't stop you from being a good mom. That doesn't stop you from going out and doing things with your child that are low cost or free, that are still going to have some kind of value and then add to the growing of your child. What were you doing with the $3,000? You just plying the kid with video games and Lunchables or some such shit? Now, after meeting her current sugar daddy on SeekingArrangement.com 8 months ago, they now live together. Oh. Kim says her son doesn't know about the arrangement. So let's get let's just get this straight here. So this woman, Kim, ends a relationship with the son's father. Can't look after him the way that she feels he deserves to be raised because of financial burden. Decides to go on a website to find herself a sugar daddy. Gets about $3,000 a month in gifts. I'm assuming that's what she gets. Lives with this gentleman now. Has her son there. Her son has no idea that mom is a hoe. Because I don't think there's really any other way to describe it. Now, I ain't knocking it. I ain't slut shaming her. That's a solid capitalist business move. I'm all for legalizing prostitution. But seriously, like, that kid's going to find out one day. He's going to find out the true cost of that Nintendo Switch he got for his birthday. He's going to find out the true cost of that. I mean, that's going to be one of those moments where you're going to like, wow, this Nintendo Switch cost my mom a shot to the mouth. Or to the ass. I don't know. Now, she says while there's chemistry with the sugar daddy, it's not a sexual relationship. That I disagree with. I do think that's a lie. I think that's a way to protect herself. I think that's not. Come on. Don't get me wrong. Companionship is a thing, but eventually a little bit of rub and tug has got to happen. At this moment, no, it could lead to something. We haven't gotten that far. There is romance, but it's not about romance. It's about filling each other's needs, showing guidance, support, emotional help, and obviously financial. Yeah, but 8 months ago, and you live with the guy in order to do this? I mean, like, if this dude is not geriatric and he needs you to get in there with an adult depends every single day, I am pretty positive that there is a little bit of action happening. It could be over the clothes, a little bit of, heavy petting, teenage-style grinding, fine. But something is happening there. To get like financial freedom like that, you gotta, come on. I don't believe that one bit. Now, SeekingArrangement.com spokesperson told Action Jackson News that a survey of 100,000 sugar baby mothers found they turned to the practice to help with unpaid child support, daycare costs, and rising rents. Sure, I mean, I get that that's a problem. I understand that that's an issue. Like, clearly, being a single mom and working in daycare, I get all that stuff. That's why it's good to have a strong family dynamic, which is sadly one thing that's missing when you're in that particular situation. But to turn to a website to match you with an older, wealthier gentleman for a non-sexual relationship, come on. I mean, we all know Anna Nicole Smith married that guy who was like 92. All right. And he died recently not long after they got married, but I'm pretty sure that there was a little, a little hide the salami action happening. Otherwise, it's entirely ridiculous to me. It is. It's just, to me, it comes across as like really stupid. So, yes, Aaron, I was actually thinking of you when I read this article. I was thinking of you, Aaron, to finally find yourself a wife. When you get big off being a vlogger, as we all hope you will be. But finally tonight, guys, at least for the stories that I have selected here, we've got one, and this one is funny. This one is really funny because it's just, it shows you kind of where we stand in our world today. Kansas man arrested for attempting sex with car. You know, I know a lot of gearheads in my life. A lot of my friends are really into their vehicles, really into their cars. And I'm sure if their car actually happened to be a female, they would in fact go balls deep. No questions asked. If for some reason they could turn their car into Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science, oh my God, it'd be nonstop screwing. But it's a machine, not a person. And we're not quite there yet with the sex robots having autonomy. So it says here that in the case of truth being stranger than fiction, Newton police took 24-year-old man to the emergency room May 1st after he was found attempting to have sex with a car. But apparently he had to go to the emergency room, which makes me think he was, oh man, I really hope it's not the exhaust pipe. And I really hope it wasn't after the car was on. And I just got to let it rev up a little bit to get the thing nice and warm to melt the lube. It says, we're called to the 1200 block of East Broadway to report a naked man underneath. Oh, wow, missionary with the car. Clearly he's a bottom too, said Lieutenant Scott Powell of the Newton Police Department. He was attempting to stick his penis into the tailpipe. I called it, into the fucking tailpipe. Why? Why would you fuck the tailpipe? That is dirtier than ass, man. I mean, in porno, when you're going to have butt play, they at least clean that shit out. They get in there and they just, you know, power wash the shit out of that rectum. But this is... No. He was high on some sort of drug, Powell said. Officers were there and he continued to try to have sex with the tailpipe of the car. He would not listen to commands or anything. They ended up tasing him. Listen, I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna say it again, from one dude to another. I hope when they tased him, it was as he was climaxing. Just if you're gonna go to jail and be known as the guy who got caught trying to have sex with the car, I hope you were allowed to finish, and I hope it happened in that moment. At least in that moment, you would have known. Probably the most intense orgasm you've ever experienced in your entire life. And you're never going to be able to replicate it. So just kind of enjoy that moment. It says he was so impaired we could not take him to... Oh, the man who will likely be charged with a misdemeanor of lewd and lascivious behavior was intoxicated to the point where he was nearly incoherent. He was so impaired we could not take him to jail. He was taken to the emergency room as a result of his odd behavior due to a 0.35 blood alcohol level and possible drug use. Officers also observed what appeared to be a head injury previous to interaction with the officers. They want to have him checked out by a medical professional. Yeah, that's what you want to do, right? You want to sit there and get this guy checked out by a medical professional because he has a head injury, 0.35 blood alcohol level, maybe on some type of drugs, and he's trying to have sex with the tailpipe of a car. Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. I think that's totally the right thing. I think that's okay. I think we're good. I think we're definitely good on that one. All right, guys, that wraps up this episode of effectively what's going to be known as Weird, Wild, and What the Fuck. A collection of stories that I found over the course of the week that I just wanted to share that were all quick. If you guys have any comments, leave them below. If you haven't already, please thumbs up the video, share it around. If you have any crazy news stories, head over to mundanematt.com/submit. Link will be in the video description. And if you just want to watch more content from me, and I hope you do, you can do so right now. Hey, thank you very much for watching the video. Be sure to hit that subscribe, click on that bell, and follow me on social media. It's the best way to stay up to date on all things Mundane Matt, as well as check out 3 Buck Theater and the Russell podcast streaming Sunday through Thursday, 9:30 p.m. on russell.net. Thanks very much and have a great day.